NSFW, what is the best accidental nudity you have seen? I work at McDonald's, and one day, while I was handing a woman her food, I saw that she was in the middle of sending nudes. When I was living in New Zealand, one night my roommate brought home some guy from the bar, and they had sex on the couch. It just so happened that the couch was on the opposite side of the wall from my bed, so I heard it all. But that's besides the point. The next morning I woke up to a text from a different roommate that there was a naked guy on the couch. I casually went to the bathroom to sneak a peek, and there he was, in all his glory, passed out on the couch. The roommate who brought him home was nowhere to be found. We later found her curled up on the bathroom floor, also naked. And now they are married. The end. As a kid, I always went to summer camp in a different state, and we would often take multi-day canoe trips around the general area. On one of these trips, after a long day of paddling down a river, the trip leader decided to stop on an island and set up camp for the night. As the day progressed, the sunshine turned to rain, and before we knew it, it was a full-on monsoon. As me and a bunch of other boys huddled under a tarp, someone pointed out two people swimming on the other side of the river. We notice it's two guys and a girl, and continue to watch. Before we know it, the girl stands up, revealing that she is actually completely nude. In fact, all three were skinny dipping. Being teenage boys, we began to yell and wave at them, asking if they would like any s'mores, while taking turns looking through the binoculars. We thought they would be embarrassed. However, they weren't fazed by this, and one of the dudes began to swim over. I will never forget his face as he got closer and realized we were a bunch of little kids. Needless to say, we gave him a s'more. TL. Doctor saw a naked river girl and fed a naked man a s'more. Sort of accidental. When I was in high school, I lived with my dad. Our house had a pool and a hot tub, and Pops was a randy old hound. He was shooping it to what seemed like all the divorced ladies in my neighborhood. Being single, well off, and having a hot tub really greased the wheels. Anyhow, he and his girlfriends weren't exactly incognito, and after a few drinks tended to come in and out of the house, where I was in varying states of undress to use the bathroom and get refills or snacks. Let's just say that I saw more of many of my friends' moms than was polite to discuss. I guess it's not really accidental, because she dropped hints later that it was intentional, but at the time I thought it was. Went on a date with a coworker. While waiting for her to get ready in her living room, I could see her fully nude in the reflection in a mirror on a door. She had a ridiculously awesome figure too. I used to work in an electronics store. We regularly had promo staff and reps in on the weekends to sell their stuff in store. This particular weekend we had 3 models in promoting some camera or other. Late afternoon, I go into the customer collections room where reserved stock is kept to look for an item. As I'm clearly in there looking for something, these 3 girls burst in and start stripping off their branded dresses to change and go home. In shock, I say, "Do you want me to go out?" And they're like, "Nah, it's okay." Then some checkout girl comes in and laughs, gasps, and drags me out. Gutted. When I was about 6, I was at the ocean with parents. My dad was playing with me in the breaking waves on the beach. I saw a rough wave wash over this young lady a few feet from us, and it totally swept her bikini bottom off. I couldn't believe it, and no one, including her, seemed to be aware for several long seconds. It was a massive late 1970s bush. I saw it before my dad and pointed and yelled, "Look at the hair." My dad was up to speed quickly and swept me up, facing me the other way, as a guy apparently with the woman somehow found her bikini before it was lost forever. She was sitting down in the water when he brought them over and said, "You lose something." I learned a lot that day. I was on a Mediterranean cruise in summer, so the top deck was filled with people sunbathing. This one lady with rather large boobs was sunbathing with her family and taking off her bikini straps, as some of them do to avoid tan lines, I guess. Anyway, she accidentally dropped it, and I got a full-on view of one of her boobs. She looked around to see if anybody noticed, caught my eye, and gave me a cheeky grin before I looked away blushing. When I was working as a PA on a TV show, we filmed an episode at a fashion show. I spent the evening wandering around backstage getting models to sign releases. Most of them were naked or half naked. Best work day of my life. was working in my fish and chip shop, and just across the road is a bunch of terrace houses. The windows upstairs start on the floor, but I assume the girl had no idea. My mum actually pointed it out to me, and it was a girl BTT naked in front of her window. The guys in the garage around the corner was walking down the street opposite of her window and got an eyeful too. I later learned she was the sister of a guy I went to school with. When I was a junior in high school, I had a math teacher that was probably in her late 20s or early 30s. One day near the end of the first semester, she was wearing a dress of sorts. It was in Florida, so it wasn't getting cold at all, and she was trying to reach something off the top shelf near her desk when the two straps holding up her dress just snapped and the entire dress fell to her feet. Sure, she was still wearing panties, but the dress didn't hide bra straps, and well, that was nice. I didn't have her the second semester, but from what I heard, she got in some trouble for wearing inappropriate attire for a teacher and had been suspended for the first month of the semester. I install security alarms, cameras, sensors, locks. On one install, I placed a camera in the master bedroom like the husband had asked. While I was still there installing, I was checking the cameras and finishing up the tests, and the wife came out of the bathroom completely naked from the shower. I hastily tried to exit the screen, but the husband, who was peering over my shoulder, told me not to and just stared at his naked wife while I was in between him and the screen. Edit. Thank you Eurazitip for assisting kindly to the correction of my spelling. Edit 2. I did not have sex with either of them. That time was at an indoor water park waiting in line for the attraction that simulates surfing Florida. I think, well, there was this really cute girl up and she bails face first. Now if you know of these attractions, you know that there is a lot of force behind the water. As it turns out, it is enough force to completely remove a person's bikini, both top and bottom. Must have been really embarrassing for her, but I like the piercings.